Okay, so you want to run a Las Vegas casino. Build a big flashy building, put in some slot machines, watch tourists hand you their money. Simple enough. The Las Vegas Strip alone generates over $8 billion a year in gaming revenue. Surely the math is as simple as it looks. It isn't. The slot machines aren't even the real business anymore, and understanding that single fact is the difference between a casino that survives and one that quietly closes within a decade. Let's start with the number that changes how you see the entire industry. Gaming revenue, the actual money won at slot machines and table games, now makes up less than 35% of total revenue for a modern Las Vegas mega resort. The other 65% comes from hotel rooms, restaurants, nightclubs, retail, and shows. A casino built today isn't really a casino. It's a small city with a casino floor sitting in the middle of it, and that shift completely changes how these buildings get financed and built. Here's the number that stops most conversations before they begin. The Cosmopolitan, a mid-sized strip resort, cost roughly $3.9 billion to build. Resorts World Las Vegas opened at a cost of over $4.3 billion. The Sphere, the entertainment venue that opened next to the Strip, cost an estimated $2.3 billion on its own, just for one building with no hotel rooms at all. These are not casino budgets. These are infrastructure project budgets, and every single dollar of that has to be paid back before an owner sees real profit. So before a single card gets dealt, you're already carrying enormous fixed costs. First, there's the building itself. A large strip resort can have 3,000 to 5,000 hotel rooms, and construction cost per room on the Strip often runs $600,000 to $1 million. Once you include the shared casino floor, convention space, and entertainment venues, that means a 4,000-room resort can easily represent $3 to $4 billion in construction cost alone, financed through a mix of debt and investor equity that has to be serviced every single month regardless of occupancy. Then there's staffing, and this is where Las Vegas resorts differ from almost any other hospitality business on Earth. A major strip casino resort can employ 8,000 to 12,000 people, dealers, housekeeping, security, entertainers, chefs, and back-of-house staff running 24 hours a day, every day of the year. Total annual payroll for a mega resort can run $400 to $600 million, and unlike a normal hotel, a casino floor never closes for the night, which means full staffing levels never really drop. Then there's the part almost nobody outside the industry understands, the cost of the games themselves. Slot machines aren't cheap. A single modern slot machine can cost $15,000 to $25,000, and a large strip casino floor might have 2,000 to 3,000 of them, meaning the slot floor alone can represent $40 to $60 million in equipment before it generates a single dollar. Table games require dealers on constant rotation, pit bosses supervising them, and surveillance systems monitoring every single chip that moves across felt, an entire layer of security infrastructure that exists purely to protect against fraud and theft. Now here's the part that actually explains why casinos still print money despite all of this. The house edge. Every single game on the floor is mathematically designed to favor the casino over time. Blackjack might run a house edge of just 0.5 to 2%, depending on rules and player skill. Roulette sits around 5.26% on an American wheel. Slot machines, the real workhorses of the floor, typically carry a house edge of 5 to 15%, meaning for every $100 fed into a machine over its lifetime, the casino statistically keeps somewhere between $5 and $15. It doesn't need to win every hand or every spin. It just needs millions of hands and millions of spins, because at that volume, the math becomes almost a guarantee rather than a gamble. Here's the counterintuitive piece that separates the resorts that thrive from the ones that struggle. You'd think the casino floor, with its guaranteed mathematical edge, would be the most profitable part of the building. In many modern strip resorts, it isn't. Hotel rooms during peak periods can command $400 to $800 a night with occupancy rates above 90%. Nightclub tables can sell for $1,000 to $10,000 depending on the night and the DJ, and a single high-end restaurant inside a resort can generate more profit per square foot than an equivalent stretch of slot machines. The math has shifted so far that some newer resorts design their casino floors smaller than they would have 20 years ago, using that square footage instead for retail and entertainment that carries higher margins with none of the regulatory overhead that gaming requires. But this business is not without serious risk, and the clearest example came in 2020. When Nevada shut down every casino on the Strip for nearly 3 months during the pandemic, resorts that were carrying billions in construction debt suddenly had zero gaming revenue, zero hotel revenue, and zero show revenue, while debt payments and a skeleton staff still had to be covered. MGM Resorts alone reported a net loss of over $1 billion for that year. Several smaller operators were forced to take on emergency financing or renegotiate debt just to survive the shutdown. The lesson underneath that collapse is the same one that applies to almost every capital-intensive entertainment business. Massive fixed costs do not pause just because the doors are locked. So let's do the actual math on why investors keep building bigger resorts anyway. A mega resort that cost $4 billion to build might generate $1.50 to $2 billion in total annual revenue once fully operational. Hotel, gaming, dining, entertainment combined. Against that, operating costs, payroll, utilities, maintenance, and debt service can run $1.20 to $1.60 billion a year. Net operating profit for a well-run property can land anywhere from $200 to $400 million annually, which sounds substantial until you calculate the payback period on that original $4 billion investment, often 10 to 15 years before the building has fully paid for itself. And that's assuming no pandemic, no recession, and no multi-year construction delay eating into the timeline. The Las Vegas Strip generated a combined $8.9 billion in gaming revenue alone in a recent year, and total resort revenue across the city, once you include hotels, dining, and entertainment, pushes well past $50 billion annually. The resorts keep getting bigger, the casino floors keep shrinking as a share of total square footage, and every single property is still, underneath the neon and the free drinks, a math problem with a guaranteed answer, run at a scale large enough that the guarantee eventually becomes real money. You didn't come to Vegas to beat the house. You came to fund the nightclub, the restaurant, and the hotel room next door, and the slot machines were simply the story the building told you while it happened.